There we are.
Is that it?
Like it? Yes.
All right, just in time for the end. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll talk to you
See
next
you
week.
next again.
Well, it never gets fun, never gets old.
Ask,
Say,
ask me. Yeah. What?
ask you what?
Ask
Ask
me
you
the.
to leave? Ask you
Yeah.
to leave so we can be alone with these fine
Ask.
people?
Ask me the. Ask me the big question.
All right. What and why were you arrested?
No, not that one.
No, not that one. What episode is this, young Chad of the Hill?
This is episode number 150 of SlapperCast. It is the second to last episode of the year.
Or
Yeah.
if we wanted to give them a Christmas gift, this could be the last one.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it is. It's time for that naughty list to be brought out and read aloud, which we're going to do on the next episode,
Mm.
including some clubs. We're going to do the naughty list. We can't do the nice list because we like most of the places, but there are some shitholes that we're going to call out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a few couple stories that need to be told.
yeah, and also so we're coming fresh off the toy drive, and Chad had asked me before he hit record. He said, "Why are you so obnoxious?" And I said, "That's none of your damn business." But he didn't know. He said, "How did the toy drive start? And how long have I been involved with it? And blah blah blah." Because it started many, many, many years ago, and it was always been called Rock the Shelter. So going back, God, 20 years. I don't even know how many years. Many, many, many years. This young lady named Barbie Welsh approached me. She had a hair salon called On the Edge with her partner Kimberly Wilson, who Kimberly was my next door neighbor. Kimberly's responsible for me finding the house that I live in. She called me up and she said, "Hey, this lady's getting rid of it, and it's a bargain." And it actually turned out to be less money per month than my 2-bedroom apartment at the time. The note on the house was, this was a lot different times, kids. It was a much, much different time. This neighborhood was not a neighborhood that you would come out, you would go through at night or perhaps during the day or anytime. This neighborhood looked kind of back when I love the neighborhood, but it was definitely run down. It's not that way anymore. And so anyway, so back to the story at hand. So Barbie had called me and said, she had said, "Hey, we do this toy drive. What we're going to do is we're going to do a skate." Rollerblades, roller skates. We're going to skate through downtown. We're going to go raise money for this thing. It's the Skating Elvis. Uh, but back then it was the Urban Animals that had their roller skate group, and they would skate through town, and there was just so anyway, she got involved with them. They got involved with the toy drive, and so we did the toy drive a couple of times, a couple of different years, and a lot of fun. And then she called me up one time. She said, "Hey, why don't you come down and deliver the toys with us?" I said, "All right, cool." And she'd have to warn you. It's we go to the shelter, and a lot of these kids, most of these kids don't have fathers in their lives, so they attach themselves to the males quickly, and it's very, very, very heartbreaking when you go and you see these little kids that are kind of hanging onto your leg, and they're, you're like, whoa. So it meant something to me before, but then once you live that, once you see that, you're kind of, all right, I want to do this. I want to be involved in this. So this has been, and then On the Edge, their partnership dissolved. They went their separate ways, and Barbie moved out of state and asked Joe Shemensky and myself to keep the thing going. We said yeah, happily, and moved it to the Continental Club, wisely, and it's just been a staple, and the Continental Club, now it's essentially a good time running the place. Pete, the dazzling Pete Gray, has kind of pulled back a little bit as far as running the ship. So, but everybody that's been involved, every single person that's been involved with the Continental Club has, Pete Pete. You've heard us talk about the dazzling Pete Gray or Pete Gordon. You've heard us talk about him. Pete has a standard that is the bar is set so high. It's easiest person in the world to work for. If you do your job, easiest person to be around. Funny, hardworking, talented beyond one of the best players I've ever seen. Performers. He's just an overachiever, all around overachiever, just brilliant man. But they've embraced this cause, and it's now theirs. It's now their.
Yeah.
They're just brilliant people, and not only because we love playing there, we love everything about the club, but it's just beautiful that it has a real home, unlike the other people in the shelter. So anyway, so that was the origins of the Rock the Shelter,
Mm-hmm.
and if you've seen the poster, you'll see you notice that it has that Elvis silhouette in the thing. That's again a tribute to the Skating Elvis group, that was essentially starting it. So,
Mm-hmm.
poster done by the amazing Trish Cramblett.
Yes. For a while, for a long time, it was kind of like an unofficial rule that everybody had to do an Elvis song as part of the performance, right? That was
No,
kind of dropped.
that was just for the Elvis show.
Oh, okay.
That was for so I did the Elvis Festival back in 1804 or 1726 or whatever year it was, uh, at the Garden of the Heights. We did that, but and it's funny, we were talking about that, the Elvis fans and non-Elvis fans and Blaggard fans and fans of any kind of music. Put a pin in this. We're going to come back to this and come back to this often. But the Elvis Festival, the tribute to the King, Houston Salutes the King, or whatever we were going to call it, that might be taking shape again. That's going to be that's on the docket, we'll say.
Yeah.
So put a pin in that. But back in the day in Garden of the Heights, so I put on a festival with Mike Martin and Bob Foldauer, and we called it the Elvis Fest or something Elvis Fest. Well, we get a letter from Graceland saying, "Hey, motherfucker, you can't use that. You got to, change it." So unless we paid a certain amount of money to the Graceland thing, we couldn't use Elvis. So we did the Houston Salutes thing.
That's
And
right.
again, that was another, that was a fun thing. But so we contact all these bands and we say, hey, we're doing a festival. Don't want you to do all Elvis, but we want everybody to do an Elvis song or two. And we got the classic cars to come out. We got the Skating Elvis to come out. We got all this, all these, things. And actually On the Edge, Barbie and Kimberly from On the Edge Salon, they came out and they brought two barber chairs and they set them up outside and they did free pompadours all day. So it was hysterical watching these people come in, and it was very, very cool. So so that was great. And then we had a lot of real, everybody knows an Elvis fan. Everybody knows the person that has the, especially like in Ireland, when you walk in and you see, there's a picture of Jesus Christ, and then at top of that one is Elvis. We all know those people. They exist, and there are many of them. And so we had those people come out to the show, and a couple of the bands, which I wish I could remember their names because I'll call them out, just complete twats in that they didn't even learn an Elvis song. They just came out and they just wanted a place to play, and so that mistake won't be made again. It's not that we're going to go crash the rehearsals or but it's the Elvis thing. It's a real deal whether you care for his music or you don't. It's a lifestyle for a lot of people, and it's a like Chad, like Beatles are to Chad, Elvis is to a lot of people. It's a big fucking deal, and you can't you can't sidestep that when you're doing an Elvis festival. So
Yeah. Do you remember this? I think it was late '03. It was just couple weeks before I formally joined. It took Tom's place as the bass player in Patrick Dublin Band.
Wait a minute. You're full time, is what you're telling me?
I wasn't
What's
yet.
this shit?
And you did. I think it might have been the toy drive, and I was just in the audience. I wasn't playing, but you played a show, and it was like a one-off thing you did with Sam from later of Diamond Guitars. At the time, I think he was working at Rock and Robin.
Oh, Sam Austin, yeah.
Sam Austin, yeah, and he played guitar with you for that one show, and y'all did a bunch of stuff that you don't know. I think you learned a bunch of things just for that one show. And one of them was this. I can't remember what the Elvis song was, but in the middle of it, you segued into Nirvana. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Which must have been Sam's idea, because I know you're not a Nirvana fan.
Yeah, definitely was Sam's idea. I remember it.
And you sang like a little bit of Teenage Spirit in Elvis's style, like "In the Low Town, there's little dangers" or something like that. And I remember going, "What the fuck?" Because you hadn't even told me that y'all were going to be playing that. Was that the toy drive? Was that the toy drive show?
I can remember everything, but before that, I don't remember if that was the toy drive or not.
Yeah,
but it might have been. It might have been. Rock and Robin, for those who know and those who don't know, Rock and Robin is like we spew on and on about Cactus Records, and just on and on and on. Rock and Robin is as much a landmark as Cactus Records.
Oh yeah.
And unlike Cactus Records, Rock and Robin never fucking moved. They I mean, you talk about feet firmly planted in the those guys have been in the same spot, and they are underwater right now in that they're doing construction on the road outside on Shepherd and Richmond right there, and it's just atrocious, the machinery that's overtaken the landscape there. So they're in dire need right now. I went in there the other day, bought a keyboard, and they have Bart, the owner, is a saint in that he's keeping all his staff on, and they're kind of walking around bumping into each other, and they're just. But so Rock and Robin has always been a landmark, and it's always been the place to go to find your players and your secondhand and your new instruments and whatnot. Great people down there. Luba, who ran sound for us on Sunday at the Toy Drive, we've talked about him before. He's beyond talented. It's sickening how incredibly talented this guy is. But he runs the show there. That's his day gig, and he's as proficient there as he is with his guitar playing or his singing or his running sound or his fucking everything. Damn you, Luba! He is just anyway. So I was a regular at Rock and Robin, which I'm still a regular at Rock and Robin, and I went down there, and Sam was working there at the time. Sam was doing the job that Luba's doing now, and I'm not pulling any favorites here, but Luba's doing a much better job. I don't work there. I don't know. I just know, I know what I know what I like. And but Luba, he is like Sam in that he knows everybody, and he knows he's got his finger on the pulse of the local music scene. And so Sam was I guess overheard me talking about this gig at the Continental Club, and he said, "I'll play it for you." And I was like, I didn't know he played, and he's a good player. Mm-hmm. Sam's a good player, but Sam's one of these guys. He's got the attention span of a regular musician, like me. So he's all over the place too. So it definitely was his idea to do Nirvana piece in a song. I would never cross my mind. So
yeah. Really not. Sorry, 1 second. Let me turn off notifications. There we go. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, Liam.
Speaking about Rock and Robin being underwater, they literally were underwater. Right? Was it Harvey or Allison? I'm trying to remember.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's Richmond and Greenbrier Shepherd there, so it's not Greenbrier. It is Greenbrier.
Well, anyway, which way? I think it's Shepherd.
Yeah, it's 59 and Shepherd essentially.
It's right where Shepherd and Greenbrier split off from each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just it's essentially it's our Grand Canyon. It's the bottom. It's the bottom of the thing. But yeah,
Mhm.
um, another guy, Willie Donovan, played drums for me out of there. Tom Jenkins played bass for me out of there. Just Ernie from Tarantula, he played
Mhm.
drums for me out of there. I mean, just a
Davey.
bunch of Davey Bryant. Well,
Yeah.
Davey had nothing to do with Rock and Robin when he played for me. That was you know.
Yeah. Well, he was, that he
Yeah.
was working there when he and I were doing stuff right before I
Oh,
started
you were
working.
doing stuff with Davey. What was it called? I think it
God
was
damn
called.
it.
I think it was called Under the
It
Covers.
was called Under the Covers, a name I did not choose, but that's all right.
But you played under it.
I, yes, I did.
You played Under the Covers with Davey. Hold a
Yeah.
second. Hold a second. Let's visualize this together, kids. Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go. I need to
you're,
smoke.
you're welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, and there's all that small little area now. Cactus at the time it wasn't there yet, but Cactus is now like right across the street from Rock and Robin, basically. And Davey and I used to play a lot, and as had Blaggards as well played there many times. As Patrick Devenben played there. Stag's Head, which is right across the street from Cactus, still sitting there empty for what, like 10 years now?
Yeah.
How long ago? It's that whole shopping center is still kind of like 50 or 75% deserted. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been redeveloped yet. It's in a really awkward spot, traffic wise.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of the problem. It's not easy to get to.
Yeah.
Especially after they blocked off the Richmond.
Yeah.
You used to be able to left turn into it from Richmond. Now you can't do that anymore. So I don't know. But yeah, Cactus seems to be doing pretty well there. But
Yeah. Well, I think you could put Cactus in an actual desert and they do all right. They're
right.
But yeah, I love that store. I still love that area. And if you ever caught down there, they've got Amy's Ice Cream and they've got
Mhm.
just a bunch of places that we've frequented. That used to be the Blockbuster music down there. Friend of mine
Right.
used to run that place too, and I have in my attic. Speaking of Elvis, I have a life size cutout of Elvis. It was a movie, an old movie poster board thing, but it's Elvis. It's a big
Yeah.
cutout of him, and I have that. And there's names on the back of it for when it made the rounds of who got it. Who was going to get to keep it, and ended up with me.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And
Like,
before that, it was Sound Warehouse for many years. And that was,
excuse me, it wasn't block. That's exactly
was it Sound Warehouse? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it wasn't Blockbuster. It was Sound Warehouse. That's where
That was right towards the end of its tenure there,
yeah. Well,
or its lifetime.
she worked at Cactus on Shepherd, and then
Yeah.
she was hired out by Sound. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't.
Yeah. That's back in the heyday when there were like 5 record stores all within a walking distance of each other in
Yeah.
that area.
But yeah, I told the story of the backstage passes for the press only for Queensryche when I was backstage at the Summit, and it was press only, but she got me backstage, and I was backstage for Iron Maiden too. That was a press only thing. But the funny thing was, and I apologize for you anybody that heard it again, but I was backstage at the press only Queensryche one, and I didn't want to fucking talk to him. I just wanted to be backstage because it was, it's air conditioned and it wasn't as hectic as it was in the front. But I had to tell the journalists which one the bands were because they didn't come out in their kit. They came out in regular street clothes. So all the journalists are, like, where do we, who is it? So I had to kind of lean over and hey, why don't you ask them a question? That's Scott Rockenfield, the drummer. That's Jeff Tate, the singer. That's it. What do you do? We know, no clue. So anyway,
Crazy.
yeah. So it was very
Yeah.
strange times.
I have a lot of fun memories of Sound Warehouse when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Gosh. I mean, all the record stores around there. I mean, I miss those days. I mean, I'm so grateful that Cactus is still there. It's so appropriate that it's right across the street from where Sound Warehouse used to be now. But you could always, if I wanted to kill time, I could, right after school, I'd drive over to Sound Warehouse or Cactus and just get lost. And most of the time I wouldn't even buy anything. You just endlessly flip through albums and books and things.
Yeah, that was the time. That was the time. I remember being able to walk in there, and I never did it, but it was the first time that I had seen the headphones on the wall, to where you could listen to the new releases.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I've seen your fucking hair and your ears. I don't want to touch that. This is, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I was a little bit. I haven't changed much. See, maybe a bit of a germaphobe, but yeah, I wasn't putting those fucking headphones on. But at the same time, I wanted to hear the new records. I didn't want to, you know. Speaking of the aforementioned Queensryche, you take you take a Fair Warning home. I think it was Fair Warning, or maybe that's Van Halen. No, it was The Warning. The Warning. You take that home, and then you go and you get uh, some piece of regurgitated fucking uh, septic fucking pile of fucking refuse. Yeah, that's the I can't think of the one with Silent Lucidity and all that fucking so bad. I'm having a hard time holding down my dinner from 3 weeks ago. It was so fucking bad. Anyway, so that's the thing. You don't want to get hoodwinked into buying, this piece of shit that that your stereo never looks at you the same. For putting, you know,
Yeah.
uh, God, it was so
Well,
bad. And, yeah,
I used to, I don't know if you were the same way. I used to be extremely finicky about what I would buy on it, back then, because this is back in the 80s. There was no way to listen to anything at that time. Like talking about like 84, 85.
yeah,
You just kind of had to go on faith, or you could ask the opinion of someone. Of course, I would never talk to anybody when I was there, but I'd just flip around. I'd like look at the track listing, and I remember like for example, many times at Sound Warehouse and also Sound Exchange and Cactus and stuff, picking up Bruce Coburn's records, because I would just flip through everything just out of curiosity. I had no idea who he was, but he had a record where he was covering a lot of Beatles tracks and stuff. And I was always really intrigued by that, but I never pulled the trigger to buy it because part of the reason I was, I didn't have a lot of money to spend on records. I had to be very selective at what I spent it on. Every week I'd be in there looking at the same records again. Maybe this, no, move on to the next thing.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it was nice too on the LPs. We have an LP. No, but
we
it's nice on the
do.
LPs too. Where, they would have the track listings. It'd be really, really nice. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
By Jove, it looks as good
Yes.
as. But it's also nice too when it has the time length. Those songs. Where
Yeah. Right. You'd kind of get an idea for
get an idea
what
because
kind of song it is.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you're that age and you're figuring out that all this money that your parents spent, didn't exactly grow on trees, but
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you gotta get a record that's those double records, those double live records and stuff like that with essentially 30 songs on them. You're like, yeah, this is I'll get that. I don't care if there's 10 crap ones on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was, like, for example, with Talking Heads, it was kind of serendipitous that I just happened to go see Stop Making Sense because I thought there was there was on the hope that there was this girl I was talking to online. Online in 1985, there were these things called bulletin board systems that you'd call up, and they were like message boards. And I know I haven't told this story yet, but do you remember that? I mean, I guess, did you know anybody who used that back then?
No, and
Bulletin
I
board
wouldn't
systems?
admit to it if I did.
It was like a precursor to the internet. Some of the nerdier people out there might know what I was talking about. But there was a message board I logged into once, and you would just post. It was like sort of like looking for pen pals. Like, hey, I like Peter Gabriel. Let's talk about music. One of the people who replied to me was this girl named Laura, who
Oh, Laura, yeah.
who had a boyfriend, as she told me. But and I was talking back and forth about music. She told me, said, "Do you like Talking Heads? Because Sonic and Sense is playing at River Oaks Theater, so I think you probably really like it." So my friend Nathan and I went not long after that, and not really planning to meet her, but I was like kind of hoping that she would be there at the same time I was. It wasn't really coordinated. But so I never met her in person, but I instead fell in love with this movie and that band. And because I happened to catch that, I was like, I really, really, really fucking dig this. So then that was like, it was no longer a leap of faith for me to buy Talking Heads records, obviously, after that. So I just went through and systematically bought everything in their catalog that was available at the time. So, and I was kind of proud of myself at that point because I was the only person I knew in my circle of friends who knew anything about that, about Talking Heads at the time. And I took them all to go see Some Making Sense at River Oaks Theater. It was like, come on, everybody, let's go. It was, and eventually it wasn't because of me, but that movie was really, really popular with high school students in general at the time. And PVA, particularly the theater department at PVA, was really into that movie. I would go there. We'd all be there like every weekend. It was because for a while throughout the second half of my junior year and probably most of my senior year, they were showing it every weekend at midnight. Yeah.
And I didn't even know about it. But I guess in relation to that story, we had a glory hole. Do you know what a glory hole is?
I've heard stories.
Yeah. So that was our bulletin board. So we used to,
Where was it? Where was it exactly?
It was just a hole in a fence, and you just put your.
Wait, sorry. Is this just a joke, or is this leading into something?
It's just a joke.
I was like, oh, damn, that'd be kind of cool if you had actually had a message board called the Glory Hole. It's actually not a bad idea.
Yes. Well, I know, but I can't do that now. I'm too old. But yeah, with the movies and stuff like that, I didn't even know about. Of course, I heard about Stop Making Sense. I had heard, but it wasn't even on my radar because I wasn't.
Sure, yeah, it wasn't your thing.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah, and I definitely didn't know about the band and stuff like that. But yeah, message board and stuff like that. That doesn't make any sense either. It was just But I'm one of these people that it was funny. Today, I was doing some work. I was telling you about earlier some personal. Some personal things on the computer and working with this. I've been working with this one lady who's just trying to resolve this thing, and it's a half legal, half it's just this bullshit. It's this shit that you have to be online with, and you have to you go through and you have to go downtown, get paperwork signed, all this bullshit, just on and on and on. And I'm working with this one lady who's been absolutely terrific, just tremendous help and patient. But I explained to her many times, I just don't like being on the fucking computer. I don't like this. I don't like emailing. I don't like my phone. I don't like, so a lot of shit I hate, but it's I think that's a generational thing too. I think because I never, I don't like video games. I don't like head games. I don't like board games. I don't like, I don't. So when people, like when you tell me about the message board and stuff like that, kind of, I understand it. I understand where it comes from. But I've just never had any interest in it. My thing is all my thing is all live and now, and let's go there.
Yeah. Well, at the time I was really into computers. My dad had bought me the first Macintosh that came out, and whenever there was a new bell or whistle that came out for that, it's like, hey, you need to check. So I had a modem. When the modems became available, it's like, you need to get one of these. And one of my friends told me about, because he would use it to call his computer. He would be at home and use the modem to call into the Rice mainframe, so he could work on his programs and stuff that he was doing for his experiments and stuff. Whenever he was learning something new, he was trying to encourage me to dip into it and learn and see if I would take an interest in it. So, and one of the things I learned about were these message boards, and none of us had any idea that the internet was coming at this point. And back then, the way it worked is that
he did.
No, he did.
I guarantee you he did. No. Maybe not in the capacity it was. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
He was his brain was on other stuff, but he the way it worked is you would literally use your phone to call. It's like the beginning of dial-up. Basically, it was dial-up, but you'd call up instead of calling into the internet or a computer that hooked you up to the internet. It would just be that one computer, and you would have a time limit. You log on, and it was all text-based. You just typed commands into it, and it would give you back different options. And so you'd have a time limit. Like some different message boards had different time limits because usually only one person could be on at a time.
Yeah.
So, you'd be on like 10, 15 minutes. And if you're on too long, the system operator, who would just be whoever the kid was that owned the computer would come on and boot you off or give you a 5-minute warning or something,
That's the glory hole. That's the glory hole thing too. Right. So again, we're
But so, and of course, just like the early days of dial-up, my mom would be, trying to make a call, and she'd pick up the other phone. Like, Chad, you've been on there. Sorry, Mom. Oh, I had printouts. I printed out all the conversations I had with people back then. It was an interesting time. It only lasted one summer, and I kind of lost interest in it after that. But yeah, we had email. They actually called it email back then,
Yeah,
and you send messages to people.
yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, lucky for us, you were kind of pushed that way because no
yeah.
way I was ever going to learn that shit. Yeah, yeah, nuts, man. It's just it's I laugh because yeah, your dad was definitely on a different wavelength and a much higher level than most when it came to that kind of stuff. So I'm sure he had glimpses of it.
He probably did. Yeah. I mean, the internet was initially started as a government thing,
Yep.
and it was actually my mom who kind of pushed me into. She was initially telling me about it first because where she worked is where the first place where they had access to the internet there. And I remember her telling me about it. I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. You go to this page, you click something, and it takes you to another page. And it's like, well, that sounds interesting. And then eventually my dad, this is when I was living in New York at the time. And we didn't even have access to the internet at work at this point. We had email. I could send emails to my parents, but I wasn't actually able to browse the internet yet. And then my dad, at some point in 1996, he said, I think you need to get online. So, because there was no way I was going to be able to afford a computer of my own at the time. I still had my Mac, the first Mac that he bought me in 1984, but it wasn't useful for anything at that point. So anyway, that's a whole other
Fun.
tangent. Yeah.
Yeah. Computer tangents. We were talking too about the LP. Where we're very very lucky and fortunate to we have our LPs now on sale at Cactus and at Sigs Lagoon. And this past Sunday at the toy drive, we were able to drop some off to some of our favorite people,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd signed some new ones and sent some posters off, and
Yeah.
just really, it's that step back in time and talking about the first computer and these old brick and mortar shops that had these incredible varieties of music and videos and all that kind of stuff, VHS, all that stuff. It's just kind of very very shocking in just how quickly everything just turns around again. And talking to some friends on Sunday at the toy drive and talking about CDs, and the kids were like, CDs, what? It's like, yeah, it's basically something that you invest in. Shut up. You don't.
Yeah.
It's but really, I mean, it's just the change, the switch, the violent turn in which it took away from CDs and tapes and LPs and just in 8 tracks, just through the years. It's just been it's like a cliff. It just drops off
Mm-hmm.
and gone. But yeah, it's exciting. A lot of young people carrying vinyl. It's
Yeah.
like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
shocking to see. But so anyway, we spoke. This. We're approaching the holidays, and we know that everybody's time is precious, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So we have a little baby Eric C. Hughes is off to see his folks, just outside of Austin, and uh, Chad's getting his naughty list ready. He's going to make calls, make house calls to all the naughty girls, and they're going to have a very very good white Christmas, if you will. Um, uh, no, no, seriously. See,
Yeah.
that's the naughty call. So Chad naughty. Yeah, so we're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the new year because
As am I. Yes.
yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be great. And we're pushing forward, and we're booking shows and hopefully coming to your town. And just I really do. I sincerely hope that everybody has a great holiday. And looking forward to actually Chad and I are getting together this week. We're working on some new tracks,
Mm-hmm.
and also he's been tirelessly revamping that website and whatnot. So
There's a new website coming. Hopefully before the new year. I want to
yeah,
get this shit out of the way.
Yeah,
Now that I've gotten all the pre-ordered LPs have been shipped, I hope that you people should be receiving them right about now.
yeah,
I'm really excited to hear what you guys think of the LP. I hope you love it.
yeah.
Um,
Let us know. Let us know
yeah,
that that it works too, because we weren't, we had passed the they had they passed the test getting to us, but it's vinyl, so we don't know. We don't know how it translates to your stereo
yeah,
and whatnot. So let us know if if you hate it, just call Bruce Springsteen or something, complain to him.
yeah, yeah. Because he just sold his catalog for $500 million. Did you see that in the news? He
$500 million.
sold his publishing. Yeah, I don't know what prompted him to do that, but
Well, probably because he's not 18 years old, and probably because he's he's why not? Why not?
I can tell you, I've been long looking forward to holding this in my hands, but it really isn't until now that I've been up.
I hope to God this is what I think it
Oh
is.
yeah,
Oh,
no, sorry, this thing. Yeah, I
early Christmas gift for the ladies.
I've been
Good.
so absorbed, first with getting it set up on the store, and then of course we had to wait forever for the actual vinyl, disc to show up. We had the packaging, a couple months ago, but it's not. It's kind of like, you know, icing without the cake. You kind of need the whole thing. But holding this in my hands and feeling the weight of the vinyl, and then just looking at the cover, I'm like, holy shit, it's here. This is really the first time I've been able to kind of just take it in. You know, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and just I mean, on that note too, if you go by Sig's Lagoon on Windburn, it's right by the Continental. If you go by there, you go by Cactus. Even if you don't have a thing, just go look at the artwork on it. It's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I can't tell you. I mean, you can see it over Chad's shoulder. V did such an amazing job on the. He
Look
did
at this.
look at that.
It's
But he
fucking
did
gorgeous.
everything for. He did everything for every song, for everything that he was, every place that his mind was pushed, he drew something for it. In listening to that record and in listening and then re-listening and on repeat and over and over and over again, it really is. It's of course I'm biased, but I think it's a spectacular piece of art.
It
And
is.
um, Lori gave away her Christmas gift to everybody. She gave everybody a free poster, right? The Black Magic poster you can see there behind Chad. Uh,
Yes.
she gave everybody a poster at the Continental Club, that I guess. So it was just
Hmm.
uh, we're blown away by it. It's just fantastic. So and Jeff was with us. Uh,
Yeah.
and so he got to sign some of the records too, which is great.
Jeff did great. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, and that there is a video of that show that Patrick asked me to film, which I don't think I would even thought to do it because we've fallen out of the habit of doing that recently. But I think we're going to give that to Patreon this week.
I think so.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. I tarted up the sound a little bit, and it's very very good, very nice.
All right, with just in time, ladies and gentlemen, and we kind of need little baby Eric C. Hughes here for this, but I do have a total. The total just came in
Ah,
as we're wrapping up. Are you ready for this?
I think so. Yes.
60,000.
Holy shit! Damn.
Now, that's not what we raised at the Continental on Sunday, but that's what was raised for this event.
Total amount of donations. Yeah.
Yes.
God damn. Joe, yeah. Well, Joe
Yeah.
isn't kidding.
No.
That is a
I
big
got,
issue.
so I know a lot of people that listen out of town and whatnot, but the the surplus with toys and the problem with in the past is, and again, Chad, you can cut this part off if you feel like it, but the problem in the past was the generosity with people here in Houston, and of course everybody around the holidays. So there ended up being truckloads of toys donated, and that's phenomenal. And I hate to say, but because it's the generosity is so immense. However, the amount of toys was was overwhelming, and it was also targeted at the, let's say, 0 to 3 or 4 year old. Then it got really hairy when you got to, let's not use the word hairy when you're talking about 6-year-old Chad. Let's not do that. But let's say it just got very, very, very the just like the the 8-track to LP to CD to on and on. It just there's this massive drop off. So the kids that were, and they're not kids, but the 13-year-old up, they were constantly left out. You don't know, so it was always gift cards and stuff like that. And I hate gift cards because, if you buy it for somewhere like Target and stuff like that, you end up, getting that one thing, and then the let's say the change off the end of it just kind of, you just chuck it. So they make all this money for nothing. Sorry, Mark. But so what Joe did this year, which is genius, he just decided to do which is always the most needed for these shelters is, he decided to do the $20 ticket and forego because there is a surplus of toys and there's no shortage for those kids. Those kids are not going without. However, the money's needed for the shelter. So that's what he changed it for. But what he did as well, on top of that, was instead of just giving a donation, he gave everybody a turkey dinner that came out. So the Open Door Mission came out, essentially the group from the shelter, they came out and they did a meal. So your ticket included a meal, the show, and Clay Dias did an amazing job. Our friend and photographer and local hero, the Mighty Orc, did an outstanding set. And then, of course, the Open Door Mission Ensemble came out, blew the roof off. And just, if you weren't in the Christmas spirit, you fucking were after all that. So that was tremendous. But it just desperately needed. The cash was desperately needed. So Joe pushed it towards that, and that was genius. And again, the generosity is, just staggering. It really, everybody's so generous. And like our friends, the Reeves, who you've heard us talk about in College Station, they bought tickets. They knew they weren't going, but they wanted to donate to it. And they said, for anybody that needs, just a ticket that would, so just generosity upon generosity upon generosity. Olivia Hallett, who passed away, her family bought 40 tickets. I don't know. I don't think they had any intention of having 40, but people just wanted to donate to the thing, and it's so. Elizabeth Brosa, she and her family, they bought way more tickets than they were coming. They're huge supporters. These great people that are so great to us, and in turn, great to worthy causes like this. So.
Yeah.
And Joe also wants me to say, sorry, Chad.
All right.
There's a lot of fucking caffeine on this screen right now. God damn. Anyway, so Joe also wanted me to tell you too that this money goes to the facility. It doesn't go to a fucking to a CEO or CFO. This money all goes to the cause. It doesn't go to a paycheck to some fat prick getting shit sent to his summer home or his winter ranch or whatever. This money all goes to the cause. So
right. Yes. Yeah. Direct.
Very important to us.
Pretty much direct assistance, right? I mean, it's kind of similar to Sienna Francis House, where it's they're providing direct services to people who need them desperately.
Yeah. And check out our maybe I can sweet talk Chad into posting it, but Sienna Francis did a really wonderful post about our coffee.
They did, yeah. And
hopefully your coffee too.
Yeah. Thanks once again, as always, to June Narnia for his expert assistance and teaching us how to fulfill these orders, which I'm still doing. You can order this at blaggards.com right now. If you can't make it to Cactus or Sigs, that's where you get it. You'll get one of these along with it.
Woo!
And
maybe.
Yeah. As long as they last. Let's say that. While supplies last, you'll get one of these with your LP at no extra charge. Because we discovered we can fit them in the same package, thanks to June. Also, June delivered the coffee. This Sienna Francis got a big delivery of coffee last week, right? Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, it was just a few days ago, and June was the one who made that happen. So yeah, many thanks to many people.
Yeah. I mean, it's never ending. But so just let's wrap this up with poor. Oh my God, poor bastard's been on here forever. So yeah, thanks for thanks for your support throughout the year, and especially our Patreon folks. And but we're coming out swinging 2022, and the van's ready. We're going to hitting the road and stuff like that. And just if you work in a big office, I just as did Sienna Francis House. If you work in a big office and whatnot, and you want some better coffee, call us. We'll eliminate that Maxwell House bullshit. We'll give you some get some good stuff in there, and you can help our friends up there in Omaha. But
Yes.
yeah, seriously, thank you for everything. Thanks to Jeff for coming out and playing with us on Sunday. And as a lot of shit went down again this year. Where I still maintain that 2022 is going to be it's going to be a big one.
Yep.
So a lot of shit coming, but do tune in next week. We got two really cool things coming, but tune in next week because we're gonna do the venting. We're gonna do the naughty list.
Yes. But in the meantime, y'all have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you on the other side of Christmas 2021.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about all the stuff next week.
Yeah,
that you just mentioned.
Glory hole wrap up.
Yes. Okay. All right. See you next week, y'all.
All right. Cheers.